in tips to make you fly. Not literally. I know Red Bull gives you wings, but I'm going to talk about LinkedIn tips that will make you really fly across the platform. So if you're joining me, welcome to this video. I'm going to kind of share what I've learned from LinkedIn and kind of separate the myth from fact, because there's some stuff, to be honest with you, that people are saying that just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'm just going to kind of dispel some of those myths. So welcome wherever you're joining. Let me know that you can see me in the chat. So let me just start with LinkedIn, right, is the most boring of the social media platforms. Hopefully LinkedIn is not watching this, because I might be disappeared for saying that. But LinkedIn is the most boring of the social media platforms. You know, you've got the excitement of TikTok and the coolness of Instagram and all that stuff. But actually, it's the easiest one for you to get eyeballs from people. In other words, it's the platform that's the easiest place to start. So if you're thinking LinkedIn's hard, boy, you should try some of the other channels. So let me give you some tips that will help you. And maybe what I'll do is, if I can make the technology work, maybe what I'll do is I'll share some examples. First thing is, everybody gets this content game wrong. Pretty much everybody's getting it wrong. They think, and people think, that if you just post stuff, it will get you traction. It's not the case. It's total nonsense. You've kind of got two groups of people on LinkedIn at the moment. You've got the people who are like sale, and they're DMing the crap out of things, basically hammering people's DMs and saying all sorts of weird rubbish. Oh, how are you? What's your goals over the next 3 months? And it's like, I don't know you. I don't ask people what their goals are. What are you doing? So you've got that weird stuff that's going on. That's the first thing. Then you've got the kind of other stuff, which is like the personal branding stuff, which is not personal branding stuff at all. It's basically, it's attention-seeking nonsense, right? And if you as a business owner follow that, your account will blow up. You'll get loads of attention. You'll get loads of engagement. So you think, well, that's great. You'll get zero sales. There's some people telling you to do stuff right now they've never done themselves. I run a business. Yeah, I run a business. I have customers to service. I have a finance department. I have administration. I have operations. I run a business. A ton of people who are giving advice on what you should do on social media don't have a business. They sell their $45 course thing. They sell that. They don't have any operations. They don't have anything like that. Most of the people watching this video of me are not selling courses. They are making things. They're providing services to customers. They're doing all sorts of stuff. Totally different ball game than the majority. That said, content becomes important. And I've preached from the rooftops that if you do the whole, I'll build a personal brand talking about issues that are nothing to do with my business and irrelevant to my business, you will get no business. And likewise, if you go nuts pitching the crap out of people, you will have to do a lot of that to get any business, a lot of it. So the middle of the road approach is LinkedIn has a problem. LinkedIn has one massive problem, that it doesn't have a lot of engaging content. It has a lot of people churning out information going, oh, let's get people to look at this blog. Let's get people to do this. Let's get people to do that. But no real people seriously going, how do I draw an audience by adding value? And if you look at it, there's people telling you about how wonderful their world is. There's people telling them how amazing their brand is. There's people saying, look what award we've just won. There's people saying we're awesome. There's people sharing memes. All of that in the mix is good, But what happens is it looks like your feed is full of ads. So here's my first tip. If you want to really leverage social media for financial gain, to actually make some money for your business, not some mystery business opportunity, I'm on about your own business, whatever you're doing right now, the first thing you have to do is get to a middle of the road approach. And I know that sounds really dull and boring. And I could tell you a secret formula, but actually you don't need a secret formula. It's this. You are an expert in what you do because you sell that as a service or you sell it as a product. Instead of just saying, hey, look how cool our thing is, or, you know, all that stuff, why not give people something they can use? Think about and write something that they can use. So go, I sell widgets for the manufacturing sector. What content could I create for my decision maker, for the decision maker, that would be useful for them? So this is where it's really simple. Who's my decision maker and what matters to them around my products or services? Because most people don't care about us. They don't care about me. Simply put, and I'm going to be brutal about this, if you don't add value to people, they don't care. Don't cry about that. That's just the way life is. If I stop adding value, people will stop following me. If you don't add value, nobody will follow you. If you don't let people get to know you, they're not going to invest any time with you. So this is a very selfish game. And actually, you're here for your own benefit and other users are here for their own benefit. So you've got to match those two things together. In other words, I want something out of this platform and the user wants something out of this platform. And it is an exchange. If you want a following, if you want to build a personal brand, you've got to add something to their world. If you're constantly trying to take, you're not going to get very far. So I would, hi Rakable, good morning. So first things first, stop making your content look like ads. Yeah, if I scroll through the feed, maybe sod it, maybe I'll do it. Let me just go to LinkedIn. Right, let's have a look and find the ads. Add. A lot of the content looks like ads. Now, I'm not saying you can't put out branded content, but what I can say is the more you do stuff that looks like branded content all the time, the more it's going to hurt you. So if you want to create more, bigger audience, if you want to get more attention, make sure your content doesn't look like an ad. So I used to brand absolutely everything. And then I realized it's more important people consume it and remember me than remember my brand. And if you're a solopreneur or a small business, just remember, people will buy into you first, then they buy into your business, its products and services. So it's better if you're running your own business to actually leverage yourself before your business. Now, if you're an employee, you have to kind of balance that actually you're there to represent a company, so it's a bit different. But if you're a small business or a business owner, you should absolutely rinse you as a personal brand to actually build the business. Absolutely rinse it. Why? Because people buy from people. This is not about, a lot of business owners get hung up on, oh, I don't want to look too self-promotional. Have you seen social media? Whilst you're hung up about whether you're over promoting or looking self-absorbed or looking like you're all that kind of thing, and you're kind of sat on the fence going, oh, should I do that, should I not? Somebody's done it. There are 18-year-old kids out there, right? And I find this so funny. I saw one the other day. They messaged me on Facebook and they said, I built multiple 7-figure businesses for my clients. And I was like, what? You're 18 years old. So unless you're like some fluke, This is all BS, right? And I had a chat with him, and basically that was his personal brand statement. It wasn't true. He just made it up. Why? Because he's been taught that you have to tell people and act with swagger and confidence and fake it till you make it. Meanwhile, you've got real businesses, real business owners, real people delivering services and have got a track record going, oh, I'm not sure whether I should say that or not. Meanwhile, you've got some kids all over social media saying all sorts of BS that isn't even true. But the problem is, your humility, you will not be rewarded for. Now, or your false humility. And this is really, really important. I'm not saying you go and brag all over social media, but you've got to be confident about what you can do. You've got to kind of be bold, because there's people with absolute zero substance, telling people they've done stuff and they've achieved stuff and marketing themselves better than real businesses that are actually doing real work and making real impact for their customers. And so I'm just being honest today and saying, look, I get it. I'm British. I hate doing the personal branding things. I hate doing these videos. I don't like doing it and putting stuff out. I'd much rather people come to me without me having to do all this stuff. It's never going to happen, though. It's never going to happen. You got to put yourself out there. You got to take some risks, because other people, this is not you just doing something in isolation. The world is moving at lightning speed. And whilst you're worrying about whether to post content or not, somebody's making it. Whilst you're worrying about whether this is a good idea or a bad idea, somebody's already done it. Now, you've got track record, you've got experience, you've got history, you've got clients. You need to be bold. You need to be bold. You need to put yourself out there. You need to use LinkedIn consistently. Why? Why should you use LinkedIn consistently? Why should you post content? Some people would say, Dean, I've posted content forever and I've got nothing from it. One, you're doing the wrong content. That's the simple answer. Number one, you're doing the wrong content. Number two, you're not learning from your content. In other words, every piece of content tells you how to communicate better. Every time I do a video, if you look back on my YouTube channel and you go back about 3 or 4 years, you'll see some videos and I'm awkward on them. I'm uncomfortable. I'm very cautious. And then you look at me now and people say, Dean, you seem so relaxed on camera. I wasn't. I really wasn't. Is that because I just decided to practice more? No. Is it because I have a script? There's no script here. There is zero script. I'm just talking to you on camera. I don't know what I'm going to say next. But what I realized is that if I don't get good at this stuff, I will fall behind. 2.5 years ago, I saw TikTok and thought I'm going to have a go at it. And then I chickened out because I didn't get the format. I didn't feel comfortable with the portrait format. And to be fair, 2.5 years ago, I was just getting used to video because I put that off for so freaking long. And now I'm playing a catch-up game because I wouldn't do what was necessary back then. And you get some teenage kids who've never built a personal brand, who've never built a business, just regurgitating, and this is the number one tip, by the way, on content marketing, they just regurgitate what they see trends. So a lot of people are doing this, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is, whilst you're worrying about one piece of content, some 18-year-old with no experience, just commitment to make it happen, who believes in the process. You know, I'm 40, right? There are some 20-somethings now who believe more in content marketing than you do. And if you're not careful, they'll make more money than you do. Because these platforms, what they're doing is they're not coming up with original content many of the times. What they're doing is studying what performs and just making their version of it. And they're doing it on a prolific scale, because they know for every 1,000 views, if you're a content creator, we're business owners, so we don't make our money from content in the direct sense. We make our money from the results of the content. In other words, people watching it pay us money because they've seen us and they understand we can help them, or we add value, or they need our services. Some of the people who don't have businesses making the content, in our sense, are content creators. And what they do is they make content to get the eyeballs, and primarily their revenue stream is from the eyeballs on the platform. So TikTok and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram have got a creator fund as well, will pay them money. Or they're making money off promoting products that they don't sell. It's not the same business model. You try and follow their business model, you'll come unstuck, but the principle is the same. You create content. So here I am, I'm 40 years old. By most people's standards in social media land, I'm too old for this. Yeah. But I don't give a toss what they think. The difference is the 20-somethings and the 18-year-olds and the 13-year-olds who are doing this, using content, they understand that this is the way the world is. Our generation, my generation, and the generation above me go, this is not the way things are. And actually, both things are true. You can make a lot of money, get a lot of business by being prolific at sharing content. LinkedIn's a really easy way to start because it's one of the most straightforward platforms. But if you're not doing that, you will be drowned out. So I say to people, you either say, social media, I'm going to make that channel work for me. So I would say to you, make a choice. Are you going to make LinkedIn work for you? Yes or no? Okay, there's the question. Right. Then it's not about should I post on LinkedIn? It's about how do I post to get the most success? How do I use that platform to get the most success? What most people do is they don't fully commit to making a platform work. They kind of sit on the fence, they have a dabble, but if the wind doesn't blow their way, they ditch it. That's not the way to make things work. So stop making ads, make a clear decision. Am I going to use this platform, and am I going to commit to making this platform work for me? If you don't answer that question, you will never see the results, because when the going gets tough, you'll go, oh, I'm too busy. There's a million things I could be doing, than doing this. But I know over the past 4 years of consistent, no, it's longer now. It's longer than that. 7 years since 2015. That's right. Yeah, 2015. 7 years. Isn't it weird when you think 30 years ago was like, you think 30 years ago was 1970, but actually it was like 1992. Nearly swollen. 7 years of doing this, right? I know the first 2 years, it was like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? I'm not getting what I want. I'm not getting what I want. But now I know things that I didn't know before. I have learned things that I didn't know then. And I would not live without it. I would not live without using social media as a tool, because I know if I didn't have this tool, I'd probably end up cold calling people. I'd probably end up sending loads of annoying emails to people saying, hey, buy my stuff, or I'm just following up, buy my stuff, or did you see my last message? I'd be doing all of that stuff. I don't want to do that stuff. I'd rather attract people who like what I do, the way I do it, my style, my vibe. And people go, Dean, I like the way you do things. I like the way you work. I want to work with you. I'd much rather have that process. But that means I have to do some of the front end work. I have to do some of the grunt work. And I choose to let content do it for me. But if you're just churning ads on social media, if you're just talking about yourself all the time, it's not going to work. Yeah, if you think copying a content creator will get you business, it won't. Like a lot of people I've met, they go, I want to be a thought leader. Thought leader, you don't make money from your content if you're a thought leader. You make money from other things, and that makes you the thought leader. So when you're on social media, people are respecting you because of what you've done off the platform. A content creator, people are respecting what you've done on the platform, not off the platform. And an influencer is the same. Very few influencers have actually done something off the platform. A lot of them have just got famous on the platform. So if you've got a business off the platform, you need to build up and leverage that the platform to help you grow the business off the platform. Content creators, completely different model. But I meet so many people who look at this and go, social media, and they're still like almost like no interest in it whatsoever. But what you've got to think is, I'm 40. I'm kind of, my son's friends have some banter because his dad's on social media, and they see, I saw some of them the other day, and they said, some of his friends said, Dean, you're in my Instagram reels. And I was like, oh, that could be quite embarrassing for my son. But it's the way you get business. It's the way you get business. And whilst some of you watching this are going, he's talking total nonsense, I'm not going to listen to this. I've got referrals. I've got all of this. If you don't make this platform work, the world is shifting. Will all of those things go away? No. But as more and more of younger generations get into decision-making roles, the way we do business, the way we operate as businesses will change. So you can't afford to be behind. So if you are not taking social media seriously, if maybe you've been like haphazard with it, you're half in, half out, I would say to you, I would recommend to you, you make a commitment to say, I'm going to make one channel work for me. Now, I suggest if you're a little bit like me, where video and imagery is not the most comfortable thing for you. It took me a while to get into the vibe of it, and I still think it's a bit weird, but I've overcome it. I would say LinkedIn. There's a lot you can do with LinkedIn quickly. Instagram, it's a bit of a tougher sell because you either need video or you need great, amazing imagery. So that's the other thing. The other thing that makes LinkedIn and Facebook different from the other channels is the way a network can grow. So if I have a Facebook profile and I have a LinkedIn profile, I'm in control of my growth, more so than if I'm on TikTok or Instagram, or Twitter, where I'm not in control of my growth. In other words, on Facebook and LinkedIn, it's easier to build an audience with simpler content. Whereas on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter, your content has to build the audience. So I would say Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok are harder platforms than Facebook and LinkedIn. So think about this, right? You cannot afford to miss on social media. Some of you are like, there are still some people saying, our business does not do social media. And it's like, really? There were some companies, right? And some of you watching this might not remember this, or might not have even been born when this happened. But there were some companies who said, the internet, we don't need to be on the internet. They don't exist anymore. They don't exist. So I'm not saying it's all doom and gloom, and if you don't get on it, your business is going to cease to exist. But what I am saying is the world has shifted. We all know that social media is here, but it's shifting more as the decision makers who've been born with social media, the people born with social media become decision makers, and then you look like a dinosaur. So I would encourage you, if you're not taking LinkedIn seriously, do it now. Do it now. The ship is about to sail, where this, I said this 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I was in a London event. We had about 100, I think it was in the Crown Plaza at London Docklands near Excel. I was in a room up in there, and we had about 120 people in the room. And I said to people, this is 2019, I think it was, April 2019. And I said to people, LinkedIn is the easiest platform to get on. It's the easiest platform to build an audience. It's the easiest platform to reach new customers. It's easy. In 3 years, I can tell you, LinkedIn has got tougher. And it's got tougher because more people have gone, geez, this is a big deal. I can make a lot of money from here. If I approach this methodically, I can make a lot of money. And it's getting more and more difficult. But there's still a window where this isn't quite Facebook. And people go, Dean, how do you know it's going to get more difficult? The more people use it, the more people come on the platform, the more the feed gets populated, the harder it is for you to stand out. And the noise gets louder. I can remember 10, 15 years ago when Facebook first started, you'd put a post out about anything and it'd go ballistic. And the same was on LinkedIn. You could put a picture of yourself, smiling and get 80,000 views on LinkedIn. Now you have to be much smarter. You either have to provoke people, and you see a whole load of trash doing that stuff, doing deliberately provocative stuff just to get attention. Yeah. But if you want to be serious and add value, you've got to get in and go all in. And it does pay dividends, because the amount of people that will come up to you and say, oh, how are you doing? And they talk to you like they've known you, and they've never met you. They've only met you on the platform. And you might think, well, that won't happen to me. I've only got 200 followers. You can change all that. You can change all that. Inside of Terry, who's our COO, Terry joined the business in 2019. And he'd never used LinkedIn before. And actually, I'm recruiting my team here. Most of the team here we've recruited in the last year had never used LinkedIn in the way that we use it. And they're in their 5,000 connections. They're getting, 50, 60,000 impressions a month. Not massive, but they're generating lots of business and they're doing lots of things. It doesn't have to be hard, but you have to commit to the process. You have to go, okay, I'm going to make LinkedIn work for me. Not if LinkedIn works for me, I'll use it, because that's what most people do. So stop producing ads. First thing, ads won't get you sales. Start adding value. Start sharing ideas. Start growing a network with the target audience you want to sell to. Start focusing in on what are the big challenges. Start sharing prolifically and consistently. I'll leave with one more myth. Some people say to me, oh, Dean, I don't want to share too much. What if people get annoyed? If people get annoyed by seeing your content, right, because they see too much of it, you probably don't want them as customers anyway. Because if they can get easily provoked by seeing you too much, it's like, oh, really? Chill out. We have all these silly thoughts, and it's like, no, get out there, be consistent. It takes quite a while, about 20 to 30 times for somebody to see you to really remember you and really get you. It's 20 to 30 times. So if you're going, oh, I'm only going to do things once a week or once a month, yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. You'll still be in the same place in a year's time. The easiest way to learn to get better at content, the easiest way to learn to build an audience, the easiest way to learn to get business is to go, do you know what? I'm going to do something every single day. Even when I come up with no ideas, I'm going to say something. I'm going to share something about the news. I'm going to find something to talk about. Why? Because you're stretching and building a muscle that will help you become a better marketer and advocate of your business, and will put you in front of more people. So this is a proper rant today, but I just sometimes I get so frustrated because I can see the potential that people have, absolute massive potential that they could have on the platform, and they dismiss it because it seems a bit of work. Tell you what, getting customers is a lot of work. Getting clients consistently is work. Which way would you rather do it? Be on a platform where you're building your brand, building your message, getting your name known among hundreds and thousands of people on a monthly basis? Or would you rather try and sales pitch people? I'm not saying either's right or wrong. They're two different methods. But for me, I'd much rather use content to build my business. So hopefully this has been helpful, and I've not just been like a lecturing school teacher. That's annoying when I do stuff like that. But guys, seriously, pick a channel, commit to the channel, and you will make it work. Commit to the channel and commit to making it work, and it will work. Look, have an awesome day. Thank you for putting up with me. If we're not connected and you've discovered me, apologies. No, seriously. If you've got value from this, if I've given you a pep talk this morning, it's helped, let me know. Drop me a message, comment on the video. I do try and respond to every comment, but it sometimes takes a little while because I post a few times every single day. But guys, those who do engage in my content consistently, thank you so much. Even if you're not a customer, you help me get seen by other people, and that's valuable to me. So if you're liking and commenting on my posts or you're sharing my posts, that I do really appreciate. Thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Denise. I'm going to go now because I got a ton of paperwork I have to do today because I'm away for 2 days. So thank you, everybody, and I'll see you. Well, I'll be back later. I'll be sharing some content later, but thank you so much for being with me.